writers. Welcome to Mystery Fix, where we talk about writing mysteries and doing it well. And today I want to talk about your writing time and how to really stay focused on writing. So, you want to get in the flow, and two ways to do this is to go into the story. I go into the story and stay in the flow. So when you go into the story, you visualize the scene, who's there, what they say and do, the surroundings, and your work is to translate what you visualize into words. And a focus on writing keeps you in the flow, and any distractions that stop the flow slow you down. So I'm going to focus on that today. This is not about how fast you write, because each writer writes at their own pace, and you can write faster, whatever your pace, by avoiding roadblocks that stop your writing. First of all, preparation gives you the background, the characters, the story world, the setting, and the more you know, the faster you'll write, because you won't be trying to figure things out. So I highly suggest preparation, and I know that we've talked a lot about this in other Mystery Fix episodes. So let's today talk about some tips to keep you writing when it's writing time, you're in your space. So you want to stay focused. Distractions come in so many forms, and to avoid the break in your flow, keep your writing time distraction free. First of all, know your characters, and your work and your character Bible will pay off when you're writing. You understand your characters and their context in the story, and I've mentioned that before. Know what your character's context in the story is. That will really help with your writing flow, and use your outline. Your story outline keeps you on track, and you know what goes in each chapter, and all you need to do is write the chapter distraction free. So no distractions. Simple ones like turn off your phone, don't look at email or social media, and notify your friends and family, anyone who's around, that your writing time is private. And if you respect your writing time, they will. So gather your snacks and drinks. If you have things around you while you're writing, get those ready, because getting up to go somewhere else to go grab a drink will stop the flow. It helps to establish a regular writing time, because in your head it's like writing time and there you go. Developing this habit trains your mind to focus on writing. And use your outline to research anything you know will be in your scene or chapter. So before you start writing, if you know a weapon will be in this section, look up the details before you write, so you don't stop and go, okay, what are the details? What do I want to write here? You're going to know those before you start writing. The whole thing about your writing time is staying in the flow. And we all come up with things that don't quite work while we're writing. So use a symbol. I use 4 red X's in the text to mark a place where you need more research. Don't go look it up now. You'll stop the flow of your writing. So if you need more details about how forensic accounting or Glock 9 work, stay with the story. Just put those 4 red X's or whatever you use to mark that place, and keep going with your writing. You can come back to those research spots later. And another one that really gets a lot of writers is self-editing. So don't self-edit. Leave the commas, hyphens, dash, colon questions for later. Use your spell checker after you've written. Use your check later symbol for anything you want to check, those 4 red X's or whatever you want to use, that when you go back to your editing time, which is different than your writing time, when you go back to your editing time, you can go through and see those red X's right away and then go do your research or figure out the correct grammar or sentence structure or syntax or whatever you need to check. When you're writing, just go, I got to check this later, and keep going with your writing. You may discover your own writing blockers, because as writers we're all different and everybody has their things that stop the flow. And when you recognize those things that stop the flow, take the actions you need to put those things aside during your writing time. So recognize your own personal blockers and keep writing. I think one of the more important things is to train your brain to your writing time. Commit to your writing time. The biggest obstacle to blocking your writing flow is you. It's not outside distractions. It's only because you let them come in. So you want to train yourself to stop those things, and your mind will come up with reasons to stop writing. I'll just take this one phone call or answer this one email. Don't do it. All right? Ignore those temptations. When you honor your writing time, you strengthen your commitment to writing, and the more you write, the better you'll feel about the rewards of progressing toward the end of your mystery. Because, whoa, there it is, you've written it, and you're getting closer and closer to the end. So, a few more tips about how various writers approach doing all this. So some writers create the first draft on paper. They handwrite their draft, and then they sort of perform that first edit and catch up on those research questions as they enter it on the computer. So that's one way of doing it, when you're doing the writing flow and you're writing by hand, and then do all those catch-up things later as you enter it into the computer. Others write in the morning and edit in the afternoon. That's the way that they do it. Others start by editing what they wrote the day before, so it helps them get into the story, and then continue with their writing time for the day. And some do a shortcut to this by ending their writing time mid-sentence and picking up at that point in the next writing session. Whatever helps you get into that story and continue writing the story. So experiment with different methods to find the one that works best for you, or you may have several things that work best for you. So as you continue with your writing time, you'll discover what works best for you and what blockers keep coming up for you that you want to avoid and put aside during your writing session. Because remember, each writing session gets you closer to finishing your mystery. And the better the flow, the sooner you get to the end. All right, that's it for today. Tips for enhancing your writing flow. And please support these mystery writing videos at Patreon. Click on the link below. Your micropayments help support this series. And I want to thank you for being here today. And as always, leave questions in the comments. And I will see you next week.